Good morning and welcome to Plant Based Cooking with AARP Alabama. I'm your host for today, Tawana Wright, and today's session is with Chef Kimberly McNair Brock. Chef Brock has been with us all year, helping us stay healthy while we're staying at home. Folks, we want to remind you that AARP empowers people to choose how they live as they age. AARP is a nonpartisan 501c4 organization that has over 420,000 members in Alabama. AARP's role is to advocate for those 50 plus and their families. Since the pandemic began, we've done a lot of online programming trying to encourage people to stay safe as they stay at home, stay healthy, stay active. And we're just so glad to be able to bring this to you. Chef Brock, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, it's great to see you this morning. What are we going to be cooking today?
So we are making blackened okra with sweet potato mustard, and I'm throwing in a little bonus today. We're going to do a little Cajun fried rice with
Oh,
vegan chorizo.
that sounds really good. Well, folks, I'm going to step out of the way because I know nobody came to see me. Chef Brock, take over that Okra.
Awesome. So, hope everybody's doing well this Friday. What I am doing right now is just chopping up a little bit of cabbage, and the cabbage is going in our wild rice. And basically, you want to have, if you don't want to use rice, you can definitely use something like farro, which is great. You can use brown rice, you can use um, quinoa to do this dish, any kind of healthy grain that has some added nutrients in it would be a great addition. So chopping that up, and I'm going to chop up a little green onions that I have. And basically, when you're doing a fried rice at home, you can put anything in here. Whatever you have, like little tidbits of something or some veggies that you don't want to go bad. Like you might have some little bits of, like you used half of a red bell pepper for a recipe and you've got some left and you want to use it for something. Well, you can use that. You can use garlic. You can use ginger if you want to have a little Asian profile to it. Anything like that is a great addition. So I'm going to now chop up a little jalapeno. And I know you're like, when are we getting to the recipe? We're getting there. We're getting there. This is just a little added trick. And it's also just a great way to use up some veggies, like I said, that you have in your fridge. How often do we buy things and we say we're going to make something and, it goes bad before we can get to it. So this is a good way to utilize and cross-utilize items that we have. So, I'm always telling you there's little to no waste in plant-based cooking. So that's the beauty of it. You can always be creative. All right. So I'm going to dice up these jalapenos and I'm going to put them in with the scallions, and then I'll get started on our okra. So even if you don't like okra, I had a couple people stop by yesterday and they said they didn't like okra, but when I gave them this, let them try this, they loved it. So the thing of okra is, I think one reason why most people don't like it is because they say it's slimy. Well, this is not slimy. A couple of ways that you can cook okra to not have it be slimy is to use, you can roast it in the oven, or you can use the air fryer, and that's what we're going to do today. So I've got my okra here, and the smaller the better to me. This is some local okra that I got from the farmer's market this weekend, and you're just going to cut the tops off, and then slice it like thin-wise. So I'll do another one to show you. So you're just going to cut the top off here, and then you're going to slice it lengthwise that way. So just going to chop that, cut it that way, cut it this way. There you have it. So we're going to do enough to fill up a basket of your air fryer. And like if you don't have an air fryer, you can use your oven. No worries. No worries at all. Okay. I'll put some out here. Okay. And once we get this chopped up, now my favorite to use are the 2 to 3 inch size okras. Those are just my favorites. So again, we're just going to chop the tops off, slice them down the middle. So once you get enough of that, you're going to get some blackened seasoning. Now you can buy store-bought seasoning, which is what I have done today. And you can just do whatever version of that you like. They're all different kinds, or you can make your own. So making your own blackened seasoning, you can use salt, some paprika, garlic, onion, of course, cayenne, just whatever you like. Some of the blackened seasonings have floral notes to them. I ran across that and I did not like that. So they have like lavender in it. I did not like that at all. And I don't know if we want to say brands here, but I'll just tell you what kind it is. So what I'm using here is called Blackened Redfish Magic. And there's no fish anything in here. It's a vegan product, but that is the kind that it is. I won't say the brand name, but that's what I'm using today. And I don't know if I said, you want to make sure it doesn't have any MSG in it. That's just not your friend. And so that's why I like this one a lot. It's just really simple and easy to use. So I am just about done with this okra. I think I'm going to move to onions. So one thing I like to do when I'm cooking vegetables in the air fryer is just kind of elevate it a little bit and add an onion. Like even if you're making fries in the air fryer or something like that, you can add in the yellow onion and just slice it julienne and mix it in with your vegetable. So you don't have to do that. You could do this and leave it sort of like a dipping type of dish. But
So, Chef, what does the onion add to the dish?
so it's going to add a little color to the dish, which is the main reason. And I like onions. I love onions. So just going to add a little flavor to the dish. Like I said, there is some garlic in this seasoning. So you've got a little allium flavor to it already, but you don't have to add a lot if you don't like it. So what I have here is some oil. It's safflower oil and new oil that I have been trying out this week. And you're just gonna swirl it around there on your okra. And then I'm just gonna shake. And I would say I probably put 2 tablespoons of oil in, and this is probably 2 cups of okra, maybe.
So does it matter what kind of oil you use?
It's just better if you use oil that has a high smoke point. And you just want to stay away from some that are not healthy for you. So I prefer to use grapeseed oil, and I really like the safflower oil as well.
What are some other oils that have a high smoke point?
You have sesame oil that has a high smoke point, the one that's not toasted. Those are some really good ones. Peanut oil has a high smoke point. I don't recall the actual number on it, but definitely the grapeseed and the safflower, those are my go-to. So we've got this mixed in pretty well. And always, if you feel like you want to add some more flavor to it when you get it in the basket, you can do that. So I'm going to pull the basket out of the air fryer. And I don't have a ton of oil in here. It may have actually been like a tablespoon. So instead of me dumping it in here and having oil all in the basket, what I'm going to do is just take it out like that and just kind of toss it in. Okay, I'm not going to put all this in and you want to have it sort of where it's not overlapping a lot and it doesn't overcrowd the pan. And then I'm going to stick it in here. You can put it on a setting, or you can put it on like 370 for 12 minutes. And if you've been using your air fryer, you know how it is. So you know what works and what doesn't, and what you like to use the best. So before we get
And we could
started,
also, so if we were cooking that in the oven, how would we do it in the oven?
I would put the oven on 375, and I would prepare it just like I did here, and then just get either parchment paper or something like that to put it in the oven and put it on a sheet pan and just roast it for your desired doneness. So you can do it to where it's soft and tender, or you can cook it till it's crispy.
Thank you.
So we have our um, burner going here, our pan, and I'm gonna get started on our fried rice. I'm gonna put some oil in the pan, not a ton, but fairly good amount. Okay. And while that's heating
And
up,
Chef, for those that joined us late, that's a surprise that Chef is doing for us today. We didn't know we were doing fried rice. It's a surprise that she gave us.
yes. So I am going to wait till our oil gets a little hot. Probably should have had that going already. Now, you might think, why is she putting cabbage in fried rice? I think fried rice is a great opportunity to hide veggies and just sneak in some vegetables. Like the cabbage is white and a very light green, so if you're getting somebody in your house that does not like vegetables, they won't even know it's in there. Because once you cook it and it's tender, hey, it'll just become part of the rice, right? So I'm going to clean off our knife, because a lot of times when we're doing okra, it does have that slime on there. So we'll get that off. Okay? And dry that off a little bit. And our oil should be ready to go. Okay. So to the oil, we're going to put, and I'm just going to do enough to kind of plate the dish. So I guess maybe about a half a cup of cabbage. And this is the rice that I'm using. It's already been cooked the day before. And when I was talking about the rice earlier, you want to make sure that your rice is cold, or it's definitely not hot. Okay. So we got that going and sauteing a little bit in the oil. So now I am going to dice up some red onion. You can use yellow onion. I've got some scallions here as well. And it's going to be a colorful dish. I think I mentioned if you have some red and yellow or orange bell peppers, that would be beautiful to put in here as well. So we're just going to, you want to have something more than just your peas and carrots in your fried rice, Even if you had tomatoes, some little bits of tomato that you didn't want to lose, you can put the tomato in as well. So I'm going to add this red onion in with our scallions and our jalapeno that we cut up earlier. I'm going to add this to our cabbage. All right. Get that going, saute nicely. And you want to keep an eye on your air fryer. I put this in here for about 12 minutes, but about halfway, I'm going to pop it open and stir it around because I want to make sure that it's getting coated well and all of that. So to this, I'm going to add a little bit of pepper and salt and garlic powder here. And you want to season everything in stages. Even your rice, when you're cooking this dish, you want to add some salt to your rice. Um, some people don't use salt, and that's great. But sometimes if you're in a restaurant, you're eating something, you're like, you keep going for the salt. That's because it probably was not layered and flavored in layers as they went along. So I did put salt in the rice this time. So I'm gonna let that cabbage and onions and peppers cook down a little bit more. And then next to that, once I get that going, I'm going to add our rice in. Okay. I have that on sear. I'm going to chop up some fresh herbs in here. I love to use fresh herbs in everything. Here I have some fresh oregano I'm going to put in here. And, you hear fried rice, you think, Chinese food. Well, this is not, it's like a Cajun fried rice. And I guess the Cajun part of it will be with the spices and the vegan chorizo. So I'm going to just chop these herbs up and I'm going to drop them in sort of at the last minute. I want to keep them fresh and green looking. Okay. I'll clean up this cutting board a little bit. Put our okra over there to the side. Okay. I think our veggies are good enough and ready to add our rice in. So before I do that, I'm going to check on our okra. Okay. I'm going to turn the veggies down a bit and open up our air fryer. And as you can see, it is coming along quite well. It's wilted pretty nicely. And so I'm just going to stir this around with the onions and okra in here. And it's really tender and nice. You could maybe cook this for 4 more minutes, but I have it on here for 6. But I'll check it before it's over and see if we still need all of that time. So to this, I'm going to add our rice now to our veggies. And what you're doing when you're adding the rice, because it's cold and a lot of times it'll come in the pan as clumps. You want to just kind of mash them as you go and make sure that they are incorporated well in the heat and it has been heated through. If you did want to add an Asian flair to this, you could add cilantro instead of the oregano. And you could also add some coconut aminos. If you did not want to use soy, you could add the coconut aminos to it, and that would be really lovely. So again, I'm going to add just a little bit of our seasoning of salt, pepper, and green leg garlic. And I'm only just adding a pinch like that because we have our vegan chorizo, and the vegan chorizo has a lot of kick in it, a lot of spice. Okay, and this is our vegan chorizo here, and you can make this in large batches and put it in anything. So I like to make it, and I'll keep it in the freezer, and it keeps for several months in your freezer. Does really well. So we're pretty much heated through here with the rice. And we're just going to add some of our vegan chorizo to this. And really, once this happens, it'll be like a whole meal. Okay. So we're gonna put, oh, we're gonna start with maybe that's about a third of a cup of the vegan chorizo. We'll just kind of break it apart. I think that's gonna be plenty. Smells really good. Keeping an eye on our okra. We got about 2 more minutes until we check it again. And doing the same thing, just trying to heat through this vegan chorizo. And if you want more, you can add more, you know? Just whatever your taste desires, whatever your heart desires. Okay. I think that's good. So we've got this done. And this is our Cajun fried rice with our vegan chorizo, guys. It's got jalapenos, a little bit of cabbage, red onions, vegan chorizo. This would be good if you had tomatoes too, to throw a little some tomatoes in. And tomatoes go really well with okra. So, or maybe a little slice of tomato would be really nice too. So then we've got that done, and that took no time to do. No time. So I'm going to check our okra. I think we're good on this. It looks really good. Nice and tender. Yum. I'm going to stop the time right now. Sometimes, you know, these things have a mind of their own. Okay. All right. So I'm going to just leave that sitting out so that can chill a little bit. And next we're going to finish up with our, oh, I forgot our oregano. So I'll add this in to our rice. Okay. And it's still pretty hot. You can cut it on for a little bit if you want to just kind of heat it through. That's really nice. All right. Okay. All right. So next, we're going to get started with our sweet potato mustard. So we have some sweet potatoes that I've roasted in the jackets. And I'm going to go with, I'm going to stick this here. Use this as my discard bowl. I'm going to go with probably 2, maybe 3 of these sweet potatoes. I would say all total, probably looking at 3 cups. Like if you had roasted a sweet potato and cubed it up, cut it up, that would probably be the amount that this is. Sorry about that noise. Okay. All right. And I'm gonna, and the beauty of doing the sweet potato mustard like this, or sweet potatoes just in general, is you do not have to worry about strings because it's going to be pureed and no one will be any more the wiser. I'm going to add a little red wine vinegar to this. It's probably about a tablespoon. And you can add any kind of vinegar. You can add white vinegar. You can add red wine vinegar. You can add apple cider vinegar. You know, just whatever vinegar you have or you like. I think I've even done it with champagne vinegar. So a sherry vinegar would be good too with this. So, all right. So I want to be able to move this around. So I don't want to have it too heavy, the sweet potatoes in here, that it won't process. So I'm gonna stop there. And to that, I'm gonna add, I would say a fourth of a cup of, well, that's more than a fourth of a cup, probably about a third of a cup of mustard. And I'm gonna do a pinch of seasoning, so a little, just to balance things out. That's probably half a teaspoon of salt, pepper, and so a quarter teaspoon each of salt and pepper, and then a little pinch of granulated garlic. So I'm going to turn this on. It's going to be really loud. Of course, it's not done, but I'm going to take the lid off and move some things around. And if you want it looser, you can add water to it. Or even if you have like some orange juice, you can add some of that to it. And that will just give it a nice little mouthfeel with the citrus in it. I'm going to add a little bit of, let me taste a little bit of it first. I have agave here, just in case it's not sweet enough. You can add honey if you eat honey. Okay, I'm going to add a little agave. And I'm going to say maybe 2 tablespoons. Okay. And I'm going to add a little water to thin this out. And that's about a quarter cup. Actually, the measurements are on here. That's what it was. Just wind it down. And mix again. This is going to be our last little bit. Being stubborn. Okay. Now, depending on how sweet you want your mustard, you can add more or not. I'm going to add a little more. Okay. One last swirl. All right. And I know that can be so noisy, y'all. So thanks for bearing with me. So I'm going to taste this. It's really good. And we are ready to plate up. You can taste it all. It's so good. So clean up a little bit and make some room so we can plate up for you. Don't want to show all my mess. Okay. All right. So in our plate, we're going to take some of the sweet potato mustard that we just made, put a little bit down, and then just kind of smear it on the side. To this, I'm going to put some gloves on. We're going to add our Cajun rice with our vegan chorizo. Kind of in a little mound. And if you got a little cup and you want to mound it like that, that'd be a really good idea. That's good. Okay. And then we've got our okra and our red onions. Okay. And we're going to just add this, set this in like so. And really the okra is the star of the plate. So you want to put a good amount in here. And make sure you get some of the delicious red onion in here as well. And if the sweet potato mustard is really loose, you could do like a nice little drizzle on top. I'm just going to do like a little dollop. Just a little bit on the okra and a little bit there. But a little drizzle would be great. And there you have it, everyone. This is our blackened okra with sweet potato mustard and a little Cajun fried rice on the side. Hope you all enjoyed that.
Chef, we have a couple of people that joined us late and missed the part where you added the dirty rice and chorizo. So, folks, we're going to do that'll be coming out with your thank you message. The recipe for the dirty rice and the chorizo is going to be your thank you message. Our next show with Chef McNair is going to air on September 23rd. We hope you'll join us for that. Look for all of AARP's events on our webpage. You can Google AARP Alabama to find out about upcoming shows, whether it's gardening, cooking, exercising, or art. We're trying to keep people active while they're staying at home. Take care. See you next time. Stay safe.
Bye-bye.